Today is day 66 of the podcast, and Exodus 17 says that Israel journeyed by stages through the wilderness. And they indeed, their whole story is told in pretty much three stages. Their time in Egypt, their wilderness journey, and then the possessing of the promised land. Well, there are stages to our spiritual journey as well. When we were in the kingdom of darkness, our Egypt, our period of time where we're tutored by the law and we're learning to walk by the Spirit, our own wilderness, and then us possessing the promised land, entering into the fullness of the ways of the kingdom instead of walking with our own life and walking in our own ways and trying to accomplish God's purposes. So two things took place on the plains of Jericho that we want to take note of. We talked about circumcision, but the other thing that took place is Passover. Now, they had experienced the original event of Passover while they were still in Egypt, where God, by his deliverances, set them free and brought them out from Egypt by the blood of the Lamb being on each family's doorpost. But they did not celebrate this again until they came in to possess the land. They're going to celebrate Passover at this point in time as well. One of the things about Passover that's really significant is part of it is a continual rehearsing of what God has done. So they rehearse on the plains of Jericho all that God did to deliver them from Egypt. They have remembered God delivering them through, and it's going to be important to remember those things if they're going to go and enter in now and possess the land. I want to read Joshua 5:10-12. While the sons of Israel camped at Gilgal, they observed the Passover on the evening of the 14th day of the month on the desert plains of Jericho. And on the day after the Passover, on that very day, they ate some of the produce of the land, unleavened cakes and parched grain. And the manna ceased on the day after they had eaten some of the produce of the land, so that the sons of Israel no longer had manna, but they ate some of the yield of the land of Canaan during that year. So when they come in to possess what God had given them, there is a change of what they are eating at that time. The very next day, they begin to eat from the fruit of the land. What we eat often describes the place of our own spiritual journey as well. When I read 1 Corinthians 3, verses 1 and 2, listen. And I, brethren, could not speak to you as to spiritual men, but as to men of flesh, as to babes in Christ. I gave you milk to drink, not solid food, for you were not yet able to receive it. Indeed, even now you're not yet able. So what we are feeding upon is often descriptive of the place we are on our spiritual journey. Our spiritual journey from, our spiritual journey through, and our spiritual journey to is each accompanied by a way of eating. So I'm going to ask you this question today. Where are you in your spiritual journey when it comes to what you're eating?